She texted, "A high-value man would pay off my student loans without asking. Stop being a dusty." I replied, "You're right." Then I withdrew the down payment I saved for our house and bought a Corvette instead. I sent her a selfie from the dealership with the caption, "A high-value man drives what he wants." Her hysterical voice note begging me to return the car. I, 33M, am a project manager for a large-scale industrial engineering firm. My job is to manage timelines, budgets, and expectations. I deal with contractors who try to cut corners and clients who want gold plating on a tin budget. I am very good at sniffing out a bad deal. I make good money, solid 6 figures, but I live well below my means. I drive a 2015 Camry with 140k miles on it. I pack my lunch. I wear Carhartt and Red Wing boots, not Balenciaga or Gucci. I do this because I have a specific financial goal. I want to buy a house in cash or with a massive, mortgage-killing down payment before I'm 35. I hate debt. It keeps you awake at night. I've been dating Kayla, 29F, for 3 years. Kayla works as a social media coordinator for a boutique marketing agency. She makes decent money, but her financial literacy is lacking. She spends a lot of time on TikTok and Instagram, consuming content from dating coaches and lifestyle gurus who tell women that if a man doesn't buy you a G-Wagon on the first date or pay your rent immediately, he's a dusty, internet slang for a low-value, broke, or ungenerous man. For the most part, I ignored it as background noise. I treated her well. I paid for all our dates, vacations, and dinners. She moved into my apartment 2 years ago and has paid exactly $0 in rent or utilities. I covered the overhead so she could save money and pay down her student loans. She has about $60,000 in debt from a private university degree in communications. Last week we were looking at Zillow. I showed her a beautiful property that just hit the market, a 4-bedroom Craftsman on 2 wooded acres. It was perfect. "I can put 40% down on this right now," I told her, feeling a swell of pride. My savings account just hit the target number. If we make an offer, the mortgage would be peanuts. She looked at the listing on my laptop, then at me. She didn't look happy. She didn't look excited. She looked annoyed. "So you have $200,000 liquid? Just sitting in the bank?" she asked, her eyes narrowing. "Yeah, that's the house fund. I've been grinding for 5 years for this." "And you're making me pay my student loan minimums every month?" I paused. The air in the room changed pressure. "Those are your loans, Kayla, from before we met." "But we're building a future," she argued, her voice rising. "If you were a real provider, you would clear my debt so we could start fresh. You're hoarding money while I'm struggling with 6% interest rates. It's selfish. You're watching me drown while you sit on a life raft." "I'm not watching you drown," I said calmly. "I'm paying for your roof, your electricity, your water, and your food so you can pay your loans. That's the life raft. The $200 the destination." "It's not enough," she snapped. "You clearly don't value my peace of mind." She stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. I went back to my spreadsheet, annoyed but figuring she just needed to cool off. 2 days later, I was at work, supervising a concrete pour, when I got the text. It was a screenshot of a TikTok video titled, "5 Signs He's a Dusty." The influencer in the video was wearing sunglasses indoors and talking about access to resources. Underneath the screenshot, Kayla wrote, "I've been thinking about us. A high-value man would pay off my student loans without asking. He would want his woman debt-free and stress-free. Stop being a dusty and step up. I need you to wire the payoff amount, $62,400 by Friday, or I'm rethinking this relationship. I know you have it." I stared at my phone. The concrete mixer roared in the background, but all I could hear was the silence of my own realization. A high-value man. Dusty. Wire the payoff amount. It wasn't a request, it was a shakedown. She looked at the money I saved by driving a beat-up Camry and eating leftovers, and she felt entitled to it. She didn't see a house for us, she saw a piggy bank to smash. She was using a breakup threat to extort me. Something in me snapped. It wasn't a hot, fiery snap. It was a cold, metallic snap, like a bolt shearing off. She wanted a high-value man? Okay, I'll show her what a high-value man does with his resources. I typed back, "You're right." She replied instantly, "I knew you'd understand. Thank you, baby. I'll send the account info." I didn't reply to that. I walked over to my foreman. "I'm leaving early. You have the con." "Everything okay, boss?" "Yeah, I have to go make a purchase. I drove to the Chevrolet dealership. I had been eyeing the new C8 Corvette Z06 for 2 years. I had the specs memorized. I built it on the website when I was bored. I knew exactly what I wanted, but I always told myself, no, the house comes first. Delayed gratification. Well, gratification was no longer delayed. I walked onto the showroom floor. A salesman approached me. He looked at my dusty work boots and my safety vest and gave me the "Can I help you find the used lot?" Look, I want the torch red Z06 on the ramp, I said, pointing. The 3LZ package. That's a serious car, sir. We have a markup on that unit due to demand. I don't care about the markup, I said. I'm paying cash, today, right now. His demeanor changed instantly. Right this way, sir. Can I get you an espresso? The paperwork took about 90 minutes. I called my bank. I authorized a wire transfer for $148,000. Taxes, title, markup, everything. I watched the balance of the house fund drop significantly. Did it hurt? A little. Did it feel good? Oh my God, yes. I drove off the lot an hour later. The engine roared like a lion that just ate a dating coach. The acceleration pinned me to the seat. The digital dash glowed. It was magnificent. I pulled over at a scenic overlook near the river. The sun was setting, hitting the torch red paint just right. I got out. I leaned against the hood. I took a selfie. I made sure the Corvette logo and the aggressive front grille were clearly visible. I sent it to Kayla. Caption, "You were right. A high-value man doesn't hoard money. He drives what he wants. Meet the new love of my life, Dusty no more." Then I muted my phone, put the car in sport mode, and went for a drive. Update 1. I drove for 3 hours. I hit the highway, then the back roads. I learned how the paddle shifters felt. I learned that this car turns heads. When I finally pulled into the driveway of my apartment complex, where Kayla lives rent-free, I checked my phone. 18 missed calls, 42 texts, and 1 voice note. 4 minutes and 12 seconds long. I sat in the Corvette, idling in the dark garage, and connected my phone to the premium Bose sound system. I hit play. It started with screaming, high-pitched, sheer panic. Are you insane? Please tell me this is a prank. You spent the house money. You spent my loan money. Then crying, heavy, hyperventilating sobs. Mike, please take it back. You can return cars within 3 days. There's a cooling off period. I looked it up. Take it back right now. We need that money. How could you be so selfish? Then rage. Pure, unadulterated venom. You did this to spite me. You're a child. A high-value man invests in his partner. He doesn't buy midlife crisis toys. I hate you. Come home right now and fix this. You are ruining my life. I turned off the car. The silence in the garage was heavy. I walked inside. Kayla was waiting in the living room. She had clearly been pacing. Her face was blotchy. Where is it? She demanded, rushing at me. Did you return it? It's in the garage, I said, tossing the heavy tea fob onto the kitchen counter. It made a satisfying thunk. And no, I didn't return it. It's mine. The wire cleared? It's done. You spent how much? About $150,000 out the door, I said casually, opening the fridge to grab a water. Market adjustment was steep, but for a Z06, worth it. You spent the down payment, she whispered, sinking onto the couch as if her legs gave out. We were going to buy that house, the one on the hill. No, I said, leaning against the counter. I was going to buy that house, with my money, and you were going to live in it. But then you told me I was a Dusty for saving it. You told me a high-value man spends money. You told me I needed to step up, so I did. I stepped up into a supercar. I was trying to motivate you, she wailed. It was just a TikTok trend. I wanted you to prove you prioritized me. I didn't mean go buy a Chevy. You gave me an ultimatum, Kayla. Wire the money or you rethink the relationship. I accepted the terms. I am not paying your loans. So, per your text, you are now rethinking the relationship? Let me help you with that thought process. It's over. She looked up, stunned. What? You're breaking up with me because I wanted to be debt-free? I'm breaking up with you because you tried to manipulate me into paying a $60,000 bill I didn't incur by insulting my manhood and threatening to leave. That's not a partnership. That's a shakedown. I don't negotiate with terrorists, and I don't date gold diggers who call me names. Where am I supposed to go? You have a job. You have a paycheck. You can go find an apartment. You have 30 days. I'll sleep in the guest room until then. Update 2. The next week was a masterclass in attempted manipulation. Kayla didn't pack a single box. She was banking on me caving. She thought if she made my life miserable enough or shamed me enough, I would sell the car and apologize. She spent her time on the phone, loudly complaining to her friends, and probably her TikTok followers, about how I was having a manic episode and committing financial infidelity. She tried to recruit my mom. My mom called me on Tuesday. Michael, Kayla called me crying. She says you spent your life savings on a toy and you're refusing to help her with her debts. I bought a Corvette, Mom. I can afford it. Kayla gave me an ultimatum, pay her loans or she leaves. I chose the car. Oh, my mom said. Silence, then a chuckle. Well, good for you. You always wanted that car. What color? Torch red. Flashy. Your father would be jealous. Can I get a ride on Sunday? My mom is the best. Then Kayla tried to recruit my friends. I play poker with a group of guys on Thursdays. Kayla texted the group chat she was added ages ago for planning a barbecue. Hey guys, I'm really worried about Mike. He's making manic financial decisions. He blew his house savings on a car. Can you talk some sense into him? He's ruining our future. My buddy Steve, who drives a lifted Raptor and has zero patience for drama, replied instantly. He showed us the car at the site, Kayla. It's sick. Also, Mike says you called him a Dusty. If my wife called me a Dusty and asked for $60K, I'd buy a boat and name it the prenup. You played yourself. Kayla left the group chat immediately. Update 3, day 25. Kayla still hadn't packed. She was walking around the apartment like she owned it, making smoothies and watching TV. She came into the kitchen while I was making coffee before work. So, she said, using her reasonable therapeutic voice, I've been looking at loan consolidation. If you sell the car now, even at a slight loss, we can recoup enough to pay off my loans and have a smaller down payment. I'm willing to forgive you for this outburst if we get back on track. We can go to couples therapy. I laughed. I actually laughed in her face. It was a dark, guttural laugh. Kayla, I'm not selling the car. I love the car, and you're moving out in 5 days. You can't kick me out. I have rights. I've lived here for 2 years. You're a tenant at will. You pay zero rent. I gave you 30 days notice in writing via email and certified mail. On day 31, I file for formal eviction at the courthouse. That goes on your permanent record. Good luck renting a high-value apartment with an eviction on your credit report. You wouldn't. I would. I'm a Dusty, remember? We're petty, and I have the paperwork drafted. She finally realized I was serious. The delusion broke. The panic set in. She started scrambling. She called her parents. They told her she could come home, but they lived 3 hours away in a small town she hated. She called her friends. No one wanted a roommate with $60K debt and high standards who couldn't pay a deposit. She ended up renting a room in a shared house with 3 other girls from college. It was a massive downgrade from my master suite. On moving day, she tried to take the Dyson vacuum. That's mine, I said, blocking her path. I bought it. But I use it, and now I'll use it. Put it down. She tried to take the blender. Mine, I said. Put it down. She left with exactly what she came with, her clothes, her makeup, and her debt. As she walked out the door, she turned back, tears streaming down her face. You're going to regret this, Mike. A car can't love you. You threw away a good woman for a machine. A car also doesn't call me names, ask for $60,000, or watch TikTok dating advice, I replied. Drive safe. Update 4. It's been 2 months. I love the Corvette. Every time I start it, the engine growl sounds like freedom. I joined a local car club. I spend my weekends driving through the canyons. I'm rebuilding my savings. Without paying for Kayla's groceries, Sephora runs, aesthetic dates, and utility usage, I'm saving about $3,500 a month. I'll have a down payment again in a year or 2. The house can wait. The peace of mind is instant. Kayla, however, is not doing well. She posted a TikTok about her toxic ex who chose a midlife crisis car over building a family. It went viral for the wrong reasons. People found my comment on a previous video where I politely corrected a lie she told and connected the dots. The comments roasted her. Girl, you asked for $60K and got mad he bought a Z06? That car holds value better than your degree. He's not a Dusty, he's a Corvette owner. You fumbled the bag. Imagine calling a man broke and then asking him to pay your bills. The math isn't mathing. She deleted her account last week. Then I got a bill in the mail. It was a toll violation from the State Turnpike Authority. Kayla had driven my Camry before I bought the vet through a toll booth 3 months ago and never told me. It was $50 with late fees. I Venmo'd her a request for $50. She declined it. Note, consider it a severance package. I sent it again. Note, pay it by 5 p.m. or I send the dashcam footage of you curbing my rims to your insurance company as proof of reckless driving. Premiums are high this year. She paid it in 3 minutes. Final update. I met a girl at a Cars and Coffee meet last Sunday. Her name is Sarah. She drives a Mustang GT 5.0. She bought it herself. She works as a logistics coordinator. We talked for an hour about torque converters, interest rates, and the housing market. She has her own condo. She has her own career. She has 0 student debt. She asked me if I wanted to grab a burger. When the check came, she reached for her wallet. "I got this," she said. "You bought the coffee." I told her the dusty story over burgers. She laughed so hard she snorted. "High value isn't about paying someone's bills," she said, wiping her eyes. "It's about value alignment. She valued your wallet, you valued your sanity, you made the right trade." I think I'm gonna like Sarah. As for the Corvette, I named her Dusty. Every time I shift gears, I remember that I dodged a bullet. A $60,000 bullet with student loans and a TikTok addiction. Gentlemen, take it from a project manager. If a woman tells you a real man pays her debts, tell her a real woman pays her own. Then go buy a car. The ROI is much better, and the maintenance is cheaper.